According to a new legal filing from the Federal Trade Commission, there's an investigation into Voyager Digital and how they marketed their cryptocurrency project. Of course, Voyager Digital declared a Chapter 11 bankruptcy over the summer months. That was part of the spew of the fallout from Three Arrows Capital. They later sold their Chapter 11 bankruptcy claims to FTX, which then itself went into Chapter 11. And now we have this investigation. Also this morning, we have a new headline that Binance US has been affirmed and is likely to win the final Chapter 11 assets from this whole contagion with Voyager. So we kind of get a resolution there. That being said, this FTC investigation is now open, and they're going to look into the directors, the officers, the marketing of the firm that got them into this position in the first place. This really feels like a story for Jen. You got to throw it your way. There's a lot of marketing in crypto. There's a lot of marketing out there that Gary Gensler and SEC boys would not love, but it's probably how you win out in this ecosystem. Want to get your take on it.
Yeah, so this is all about this bankruptcy case, right? What the FTC is saying is that if Voyager is sold, which it looks like it is going to be to Binance US, all of these marketing claims shouldn't go away. And I think I agree with them. I just want to remind our audience. So there is a class action lawsuit in South Florida, and it's against Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. And the claims are that Voyager falsely marketed the platform as 100% commission-free, falsely represented Voyager as insured by the FDIC, and failed to disclose the nature, scope, and amount of compensation celebrities received in exchange for promotion. I don't think that the executives and the company should not be held liable for those things. If it's found that these allegations are true. And I guess my next question is if the sale goes through and Binance US does acquire Voyager Digital, do they acquire these lawsuits as well? It seems like the FTC wants them to, and I wonder if that's going to affect the sale. But I think that all marketers in crypto should be looking at this with a magnifying glass and taking a look at your marketing strategy. You should understand how the business works. If you're making claims that there are things like FDIC insurance and it comes out in your copy or in your marketing, you are partially responsible for that messaging. And so I think that marketers need to do a better job of understanding all parts of the business. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, you got to really be careful out here. I think the SEC is very attuned to some of these claims, right? There is a lot of suspicion around where yield in crypto comes from, right? And the word interest even, right? I think a lot of people mistakenly call these things interest-bearing accounts. It's different. Maybe it's rewards from staking. Maybe it's some other sort of mechanism by which you're generating yield. But I think the onus is on centralized finance companies such as Voyager to be crystal clear about what is going on your platform. Because right now, any sort of askance wording around what you're offering and how you're offering it is really drawing the ire of lawyers in the federal government. We saw this big time with the Kraken case, right? The Kraken case, which was about their staking service, that was very much about how it was represented and how it was represented differently than what you would get as an individual would you be staking things directly on a blockchain, right? So I think the language is really important, and especially like right now with regulators just going over this stuff with a fine-tooth comb, it's really, really important to be clear about what's going on to make sure that you're not running afoul of securities laws or, in this case, other violations. And I think we're going to see, potentially more of this because the timing does seem right around some of these enforcement actions. I'm going to toss it to Will, though. Will, what's up?
Yeah, last take here for me. Interesting how there's always like a different agency that's going after these claims, right? So typically it's the SEC. The Kraken one you just mentioned, Zach, that was a bombshell from about 2 weeks ago. And that really was about the financialization of stake, right? Saying that I can get some sort of interest-bearing account on top of staking, when in reality, staking is just staking, right? And the SEC doesn't seem to have too many qualms about that. I think we're still understanding that full story, but they don't seem to have too many issues with the underlying staking. It's the financialization of stake, right? Saying that you have an interest-bearing account here when you are in fact just staking a cryptocurrency. And I think that's the thing that's going to be come knocking for all these different companies that were offering interest. And it makes sense from a marketing angle that people were saying that these are interest-bearing accounts, right? Because most people are familiar with that. They open a checking account when they're 12 with their parents, and you maybe got a little bit of interest. And so nowadays, when you're looking at these different projects and you're opening up an account on Voyager, or you're opening an account on FTX, It's marketed as interest, when in reality it's not really interest, right? You're basically getting some sort of financialized program from staking or trading or lending, things like that. And there's some comparisons to interest for sure, but it's not necessarily the same here. And I think it's a big issue that a lot of marketing people in the space got caught up in, and now they're going to have to pay the penalty. But Jen, we'll go to you for the next story.
Yeah, before we go to the next story, I'll give one last thought here. I hope that marketers are looking at this and thinking about how they're disclosing those influencer relationships, those celebrity relationships. And I hope that they're challenging themselves to ask the people who give them the information that they're publishing, if it's true, what are we backing? I think everyone is responsible for the information that goes out there. So as a marketer myself, it's sometimes hard to get people to answer those questions, but I hope that everyone watching just pushes a little harder. And if you're not sure, just don't publish. No one's going to die.